Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the anime Dandadan Season 1 on Netflix. And I really love this anime. Now, the only kind of issue was how the season ended, but mainly because I'm like, hey, I wanted more to see what was going on with this. So, the best way that I could describe this without pretty much spoiling anything off the bat would be Fully Cooley. Like, it's really kind of funny that they've been chasing after, and even like Toonami has attempted to make sequels to Fully Cooley, but this fucking thing just nails it. What Fully Cooley is just like figuring out what the fuck is going on in a kind of fucked up world with teenagers and all of the kind of craziness that ensues with that. And this just does it in its own kind of style and way. It reminded me the best kind of things of Fully Cooley, with like crazy animation, crazy effects, interesting world and characters of what's going on, and really just fucking delivering on it and executing it. And the only kind of downside is it ended mainly on the cliffhanger of like, what's happening next? What's going on? Like, what the fuck, motherfucker? So, we are pretty much off the bat of these two characters, Momo and Ken Takakura. However, he goes by Okarun here, because Momo has a crush on Ken Takakura. And it's... that's really kind of funny, because he, like, tells the name, and it's like, what the fuck, man? So, she pretty much believes in supernatural, while he believes in extraterrestrial aliens, and we see that Momo sees that he's pretty much getting bullied and whatnot, and she pretty much steps in to kind of stop that, and he then comes out and kind of like spews this kind of stuff about aliens and all that, and they're like, start fighting over it kind of a little bit, and she of course was just in a kind of pissed off kind of mood, because she had pretty much broken up with her boyfriend, who was an asshole, and they pretty much dare each other to go to respective similar kind of spots. Her to go to a UFO kind of place for aliens. Okarun is going to a haunted kind of place. And this is where it starts to pretty much... let me see. Okarun? Yeah. To do some kind of crazy ass shit. She pretty much gets abducted by aliens that are attempting to get her banana, because they're an all-male species and they're trying to pretty much like propagate themselves. By pretty much taking organs and shit like that, and like fucking people as well. While Ken gets set upon by, Okarun gets set upon by Turbo Granny, who becomes an important kind of character, who is voiced in the English dub by Rita Repulsa from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That was fucking awesome. I was like, okay, like, whatever. There's certain kind of things I'm like, really? Holy fucking shit. Who, her attempt is to, gobble his dick. And, yeah, they both kind of get, like, screwed up. But, he gets taken over pretty much by the granny and kind of cursed and loses his dick. But he kind of uses the power and kind of helps unlock Momo's power as well. And she pretty much has kind of, like, psychic powers of, like, throwing people and everything like that. And they kind of team up and pretty much take out the alien saucer and everything, but the thing is, she doesn't have any clothes. He gives her some clothes, and then we kind of see their kind of friendship / relationship kind of forming. They are the two central core characters, the pillars of this show, and they fucking nail them. Trying to understand how their weird little teen minds work is really fucking awesome. And the thing is, it doesn't come from a place of the usual kind of things of adults trying to either understand the youth of today by pretty much stapling their shit onto me, like, oh yeah, it's just like the 70s or whatnot, but with smartphones, I'm like, the smartphones really fucking change a lot of shit. Like, I even came up before the true kind of big shit of smartphones during school. I mean, I was during the flip phone era, man. Yeah, I'm an old bastard, but I'm not gonna... I fight every day to become that old man yelling at the cloud and shit. Now, Understanding the slang and everything, that's an entirely different matter where it kind of devolves into almost its own kind of language. But every fucking cohort or generation or whatever the fuck ass you want to call it has that kind of shit. What's up? Fucking all that kind of shit. It doesn't come off as these older people attempting to be like, oh, poo-poo on the young kids or whatnot. No, and it doesn't seem stereotyped as teens. It's teens trying to figure out themselves. They are characters. That's all any of this ever kind of goes down to work on. Peter Parker works as a superhero lean-in because he's a character. He's down on his luck. He didn't really have friends and that really kind of cool-ass kind of vibe and whatnot. And then he gets his Spidey powers and he's got to juggle all this kind of shit. We get that shit here. Like, these characters get their powers, and it always happens around this time because it's like puberty. Your body's going through changes and everything, and I love that kind of metaphor when it's done right, and it doesn't interfere with the plot and the world building. Yes, not all, like, we don't get supernatural kind of powers, but we're trying to figure ourselves out. We're trying to figure out what our bodies are doing, what they're telling us, what we're going through. Are we horny? Are we hungry? Why the fuck don't my pants fit anymore? Oh, because I'm too tall. Oh shit, what the fuck's going on here? What the fuck's on with this hair and shit? Why is my dick missing now? That kind of stuff. So, they then are trying to figure out what's kind of happening here. We learn about Momo's grandmother, who is this kind of hot grandmother trope, but at least is not going into the fucking grandmother that looks like a very small child or whatnot, but is like thousands of years old. But the thing is, she has a kind of complicated relationship with her grandmother because her parents are dead, and her grandmother raised her, had her do this kind of ritual and everything that fucked over. She didn't like that the boy that she liked was making fun of her grandma, so that's why she was kind of stopped doing that kind of stuff. But her grandma's a kick-ass medium, and they do this kind of thing, and this dude's like, oh yeah, none of that's correct, but it comes out that everything was correct. However, she only has power in her chosen kind of area of operation because of the god that she's got to deal with. Can I just say that is clearly and concisely explained, and also really hits out very well on explaining your magic system as well. Momo can operate outside because of whatever powers that she's got. Same with Okarun. Okarun is possessed and cursed by Turbo Granny. And the thing is, he's, after the kind of second kind of episode, because this is like 12 episodes, they're fighting this kind of UFO sumo spirit, and I love the combination of science and like the extraterrestrial informing the supernatural as well. It's like they took out this thing because Okarun was pretty much getting set on fire because of the barrier thing, but they're kind of like dealing with all that, and then they have to fight this thing, and having Ken being able to, Okarun utilizing his powers, and Momo kind of helping him get to that as they beat the fucking shit and deal with this asshole, utilizing the barrier again in a very kind of also strategic ways. Most of the time, them trying to figure out the situation and figure out the smart kind of move to play on is awesome to see. It doesn't feel like complete and utter ass pulls. It feels like these people that are put in over their heads trying to figure out solutions to these problems. And that continues on throughout this season, which, thank you. I love that. I'm alright if it's like within the character to figure out an ass pull kind of moment. But you have to watch out for that, because otherwise if you make that kind of like your kind of pattern, it starts to become kind of like plot demands that this kind of pops out. Let's see. Yeah. And then they decide to pretty much go and try and take down the granny. Because the thing is, he's cursed at this point, and the granny can kind of like come through with him, but she's still bound in this kind of tunnel, and that she's fused with a stronger location-bound crab spirit that's dealt with other kind of ones, and them flying around the town before getting help from the granny Psycho to pretty much beat the shit out of them was like, okay, cool. So Okarun gets his penis back after going through all that. And it's kind of cool because we see that Momo's trying her best to kind of make him feel like a friend and saying, I'll see you tomorrow, and he starts doing it as well, and we see that he doesn't know how to kind of handle this. He likes that he's got a friend and he's got someone to talk to about all this kind of stuff. He's just kind of been content with being alone, and I really empathized with him on this because of how he kind of did it. Now, was I to his kind of level? No. I was lucky enough to be able to be around people that I could talk to about any kind of thing, and we had like our interests that we talk about, like Star Wars with some people, video games with others, Halo in specific with certain kind of one, other kind of games with other kind of people, but Okarun didn't really have that. And seeing them kind of build that up throughout this season is amazing. I love it. I love seeing the character moments that are driven by characters, and it feels organic and that they're doing their own kind of thing. It's just refreshing to not see adults be like, oh, teenagers are fucking stupid. There's points where teenagers are stupid. Yeah. With certain kind of challenges or whatnot. But they're just people learning to be people, and that never stops. There's a lot of assholes that have survived a lot of different kind of stuff. It's like, yes, I did it because I was smart. It's like, no, you were pretty much lucky in certain kind of shit, and there's really no differentiation between an adult and a teenager other than age. You live longer, asshole. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Just people trying to be people. Just because you're an old ass motherfucker doesn't mean you know what the fuck you're doing. Like, we adults know what you're fucking doing. It's like, if anything over me living the last couple decades has proven, that's fucking false. So when I see things like this that actually take characters seriously and show these little moments of them being pissed off at each other and then talking it out and being like, oh, okay, because they're trying to figure out their relationships to each other. She wants to go talk to him about certain kind of stuff, but he's kind of avoiding her because at a certain kind of point he's attempting to get himself stronger so he can help her out and kind of surprise her and everything, which leads to other kind of nutty kind of stuff because someone pretty much was trying to like fuck him over. What's her name? Ira. Yeah. Where she kind of made Okarun feel good, but she was making fun of him, and Momo fucking dropped a wash basin on her ass. But she could actually see it. It's like, thought that she was a demon. Because we learned that Okarun, yes, even though he's gotten his penis back, he's still missing his balls. And the Turbo Granny is somewhat still kind of inside of him. But they're able to separate the spirit from the power, so Okarun still has the power, but Turbo Granny gets pretty much into this, like, lucky cat kind of fucker. Let me see. There's an actual kind of thing. A Maneki Neko doll. And then she pretty much took his testicles, and they're now golden Kintama, and are infused with her ore that could, like, draw spirits and shit. So, Ira first finds one of these testicles. I love that I'm talking about this stupid shit. Like, and it's serious. Like, it's funny as fuck, but it's also a serious thing that this dude lost his goddamn balls, and you gotta fucking find them because they're now gold-plated because of this Turbo Granny dick. Okay. I've also done a review for Mashal. This is where you're balancing your tone and shit well, where you got the funny shit, but it doesn't disregard the seriousness of, like, yeah, the dude lost his penis and his balls, and he got one back, and now he's got to get the others back. But the thing is, this also gives, like, kind of spiritual kind of power that Ira can see. However, this then draws other entities to her, this acrobatic Silky, and her story is very sad, where she's a single mother trying to provide best for her daughter, but these, I don't know if they're like her pimps or whatnot, come and like beat the shit out of her because of the money that she spent on her daughter for a dress, I guess, and then they take the daughter and she's turns into a yokai because of like her death, and she was connected to Ira because she mistook her for her mother. And the thing is, they all three get swallowed by the Silky at a certain point, and this causes Ira to almost die. But instead, they infuse her with the Silky's aura, and she gets the Silky powers, which are awesomely showcased once they are almost abducted again and have to deal with like a Nessie ass monster with the school where she's utilizing her stuff. And Okarun and Momo are Okarun's naked. And then Momo pretty much is down to her underwear as well. And after they beat that kind of thing up by teaming up and figuring out what's kind of going on, which she still thinks that Momo's a demon and trying to do this kind of demon army bullshit, everyone's like, what the fuck's kind of going on? And even this teacher who's into like dominatrix kind of shit is like, I don't tolerate bullying. Except if I'm doing it to she doesn't tolerate bullying, which is good, but she's kind of like doing her dumb shit. And it's like, oh shit. And the real funny thing is seeing Momo's friends trying to figure out what the fuck this situation's about. And that's just goddamn hilarious. And Ira could have set off that, like, Momo was the bad guy in all this. But see, she was spreading rumors that she was like a slut and everything like that, and actually owned up to the rumors and everything and said stop talking bad about her because they'd gone through all this shit and they saved each other's lives. It's like, good character growth. So Okarun got the one testicle back, which how they put that back was fucking hilarious, with Turbo Granny tossing it and Sayako playing like a baseball. That was there's such great shit in this goddamn anime. It's fucking great. And the thing is that Momo caught Okarun on top of Ira, and she thinks that she's got feelings for him and attempted to kiss him and all that kind of stuff, and Okarun's pretty much more for Momo. And that was a whole kind of mess. And I liked how it wasn't stupid, over-dramatized miscommunication. It was the kind of organic stuff. I'm like, ah, shit, there's a miscommunication, and then actually trying to deal with it after everything was kind of going on. And they actually help out this one kind of mantis shrimp that was part of the whole aliens trying to take him in school, and it needs like blood transfusions for its kid, and it turns out it's milk. So that's why we got the cattle mutilations, because they need milk to kind of like help his ass out. But then we get the whole bombshell that Gigi, the one that Momo had a crush on, has popped up because his house is haunted and he can't get sleep, and like his parents are in the hospital, and Psycho like has him still over there. This of course leads to jealousy with Okarun and him, setting off more of him attempting to pretty much jack himself up. But we also find that he can't really hate Gigi because they start talking and are getting into the same kind of stuff and nerding out about shit on the train as they're pretty much going to Gigi's house, because Psycho was going to help out, but she's like, nah, I'm going to send you and to try and figure out and look for Okarun's second testicle, because we still don't have a complete beat on that yet. They thought Gigi had it, but we haven't seen that yet. And we see that he has a kind of weird spirit thing that is hanging around with him, and he can't sleep. It's like, what the fuck's going on with that? They also had to deal with this anatomical model having a love affair with like an older anatomical model. That was kind of crazy. And see, my main kind of issue is that this last episode, it just is really kind of weird. We get to the house, Momo says that there's nothing going on here, and she decides to go to a hot springs by herself, and then she gets set upon by these guys, and we see that Okarun is like, what the fuck's kind of going on? They kind of bond and pretty much say that they're into Momo, and they're like, what the fuck's kind of going on with the house? It's bigger on the outside than the inside. They bash open a wall and see that there's like talismans and everything, and that's where it ends. It's like, motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker. Where's the rest? And we are getting a second season, which is like awesome, and I cannot wait to see what goes on with this. But I'm like, there had to have been a better kind of natural ending point than here, because like it's still in the middle of the action. I'm like, what the fuck? But if this was the kind of best place for them to end off, I'm like, I gotta get that. There's certain kind of ones where there's like no real good way of setting off an end kind of point for chopping off a certain kind of thing. I just wish it hadn't been like this. Does that overall decrease my enjoyment of this? Fuck no. Would I recommend this to a lot of people? Yes. Now, because of the mature themes and the scary stuff going on, please, for the love of God, don't just throw a fucking child down and be like, hey, motherfucker, look at this! Because that's going to create a lot of different fucking problems. So, please do not do that. Would I recommend this as a background anime to watch? After you've watched it a couple times, probably. But this is one that, like, it deserves your attention to sit down and see what's going on and look at the animation is beautiful. The style of the quiet moments of things just being in the day of the life of, and then the action scenes. The action scenes and going into the supernatural aspects and the extraterrestrial aspects and showing the kind of differences between the worlds while still retaining a coherent art style is amazing. The animation quality, fucking top tier. Love, of course, the voice work as well. I watched it in English. Of course, we've already talked about Rita Repulsa. This just hit for me. Like, right time, right place. I'm like, alright, let's see what's going on with this thing. And I'm like, I am very glad I watched this. I would definitely recommend it because the world is amazing. The plot is awesome, funny, crazy, and intense. The characters are well done and they just pull me in. And if you don't like this, that's cool. That's alright. I don't have a problem with that, and that's awesome. That's cool. Not for you. That's alright. If you're into supernatural and extraterrestrial stuff and kind of crazy stuff and really looking for something that is like Fooly Cooly, like you just finished Fooly Cooly and you're like, damn, I kind of would like another Fooly Cooly. This motherfucker right here. And if you don't agree with me on that, again, it's quite alright. I understand that. There's certain kind of things. Fooly Cooly is into itself its own kind of thing. And trying to sequel it through that, through what has been going on at Toonami is a hard thing. And they've worked more of it than not. But this is like if somebody had said, hey, Fooly Cooly. It's like, alright, it doesn't have like the pillows and everything like that, but it nails that teenage time frame without being like that asshole dickhole trying to moralize from like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years past and being like, yeah, how do kids do this shit? And it's like, yes, there's certain kind of things that you have to like talk to a motherfucker about to understand what's going on for that certain kind of generation. But there's to understand how those things would affect what anybody goes through at that teen kind of level, because there's similarities, but there's also slight differences that change up that kind of thing, and this fits. I love it. Like, this would be a good example, because I was talking about certain kind of anime to showcase what it's like of certain kind of age groups and whatnot. This would definitely be one of those. We also got a D's nuts kind of thing, because Gigi wasn't quite sure if they were talking about like dick jokes or whatnot. That's back into effect. God damn, I enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see where it goes on and see where this fucking thing concludes. And I didn't really expect it. I'm like, fuck yeah, baby! So, those are my opinions on the anime. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.